Hey, it's the CHGO Blackhawks crew, Jay Zawaski and Mario Tirabassi with you here. We just finished up our Monday mailbag podcast, and as soon as we get off the air, Mark Lazarus drops a Laz bomb. Eddie Olczyk reportedly leaving the Blackhawks organization. Then about 20 minutes later, Jeff Agris jumps in and says that Eddie is joining the Seattle Kraken broadcast booth. And as you would expect, lots of angry and upset Blackhawks fans when this news came out.
Yeah, a lot of people, their last hope for this season was watching the broadcast with Eddie Olczyk because he was going to keep it interesting. And now I don't know what the team is going to be doing. It's a very weird situation because with the audition process of finding Pat Foley's replacement, if this was in the works that Olczyk was going to leave, you would have thought they would have also auditioned color commentators, but that probably wasn't the case. And you were able to get some information, more information on this as it's happening in real time.
Yeah, so I'm told that the Blackhawks were caught off guard by this, that they had believed they had reached a verbal agreement weeks ago, and it was sort of just a matter of crossing the T's and dotting the lowercase J's and getting all of that stuff done. And they were caught off guard by this. So, look, I know the reaction, and look at the threat of being told I'm carrying water for the Blackhawks, fine. I just want to say, let's think about this logically. Let's take a step away, right? Like you just said, wouldn't they be wanting to try out other color guys? If they thought Eddie Olczyk was leaving, why would they make this hugely unpopular move in the middle of an offseason and now suddenly have to scramble for a replacement voice? From what I'm told, the Hawks were definitely caught off guard by this and thought Eddie would be back based on verbal conversations they'd had before.
Yeah, I think it was public knowledge that his contract was coming to an end after this season, and I think a lot of people just assumed that Olczyk, even though he was again the lead analyst for a national network, lead analyst with TNT, that he would stay doing his local broadcast responsibilities with the Blackhawks. Now he'll be doing that with the Kraken, which is just weird to say, but I mean, it's sometimes these things change and happen in media. I can't speak to the contract negotiations or anything with between Olczyk and the Blackhawks, but it really, it just seems very out of left field, and it just the timing is odd, and so now we go into this where the team is going to have to apparently scramble to find replacements. In Mark Lazarus's piece, he spoke about the team is reaching out to former players to gauge their availability and interest in doing it. I don't know who's available or interested, but it's an interesting opportunity, I guess, that is going to be presented to them. But that's something we can talk about.
We got all summer to figure that out.
Apparently, another thing we have all summer to talk about and think about. And I do want to mention, he's already got a tough job replacing Pat Foley, but this is just another interesting hurdle that Chris Vosters, as the new permanent play-by-play voice for the Blackhawks, is going to have to navigate in his first full season as the play-by-play broadcaster. So my best wishes go out to him as he definitely has to deal with this now.
Well, I found it interesting now, kind of looking back on it in hindsight. We didn't see Eddie at development camp at all last week. We were there every single day of the camp except for Wednesday,
usually
which was a testing day.
Yeah, he usually pops around that event. I've seen him, years past out there for prospect camp, and he wasn't around.
Yeah, I'll just say this, I know that everyone is very down on the Blackhawks right now, and for good reason, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to be bad for the next few years. Maybe Eddie Olczyk saw the writing on the wall of what this team's going to be for the next 2-3 years and said, I don't want any part of this, right? Yeah. This is not entertaining for me. I don't want to sit here. I'm the best color man in the game. I shouldn't have to sit here and endure a rebuilding team.
Yeah, and I mean, if that ended up coming down to being his decision, he was looking for a new contract. So if he says, I don't want to look for a new contract anymore, I guess that's his right. But if the Blackhawks figured they had an agreement, it's a gray area, and it's tough to say definitively what the process was. If the Blackhawks thought that, again, if the Blackhawks thought Olczyk was going to leave, I think that they would have probably had a plan in place, and it seems like the plans are kind of forming on the go.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
It's very
of
tough,
change,
and look, news is going to come out as we go here, but I would just ask you to take a step back and think logically, like, are the Hawks just really like, oh, but by the way, Eddie Olczyk's not coming back either. See ya.
Right.
No, of course not. That's just not how they operate. People have looked at a lot of the stuff the Hawks have done PR-wise, like kind of cynically over the years, right? Like, oh, Eddie, they're giving Pat Foley this last hurrah and the one last shift and all these things, and those things get a lot of eye rolls. Look, if you want to be a cynic about it, if they knew Eddie was leaving, they would have rolled out the red carpet and had all these ceremonies and sold some tickets to say goodbye.
Absolutely.
So I do believe that they were caught off guard by this. They are going to have to scramble. This is not an easy thing to do. Look how long it took to find Chris Foster's, right? You needed a whole season to do it, and now they've got what amounts to basically a month and a half. Mm-hmm. What's left of July, August, and then early September, so I guess 2 months, to find your permanent color voice for this team on television. That is a tough task.
Right.
So, put the pieces together, think logically instead of angrily, and look, Eddie has been through a lot. Mm-hmm. Health-wise, he's been through a lot in his hockey career. And like I said, maybe he just said, this is the next chapter. And Jake, one of our managers here, said, remember Len Kasper. And everybody was really pissed at the Cubs when Len Kasper left. And Len said, you know what? I've always wanted to do radio. I want to call a World Series game on the radio. So this was my decision.
Yeah.
The Cubs did nothing wrong. We'll see what Eddie has to say in the coming days.
Yeah. And I hate to speculate, but I would imagine the Blackhawks in their negotiation process wouldn't have tried to strong arm Olczyk or lowball him or anything like that. No. Because they know that they're smart people. They know that losing Olczyk is not horrible. A net positive. This isn't making a move to, this isn't a trade of Alex DeBrincat where you can squint hard and see, oh yeah, I see how that makes sense. This is a tough decision that would have been a tough look, and I don't see the quote unquote net positive of letting Olczyk go. Now it's just a situation now that the team and the broadcast is going to have to deal with, and we might be in for another carousel broadcast year. That just might be a rotation of color analysts. I know in Lazarus's story, he mentioned Colby Cohen, who is going into the second year of a 5-year contract now. He was on broadcasts last year. There's varying opinions about him as a broadcaster, so he's in the mix potentially. Just spitballing here, Nick Olczyk did a fantastic job on broadcast this past year on the radio and TV.
Stu Grimson's been around the block doing that sort of stuff and did some stuff with the Hawks last year too. So there's a lot of names out there, and the Hawks got to get through this quickly. Look, as the news breaks, keep it with us here. Make sure you're following CHGO_Blackhawks. I'm at Jay Zawaski. He's at Mario_Tirabassi. We'll be back on Tuesday at 11 a.m. with a live CHGO Blackhawks show. And we promise you this conversation will continue. But thanks for checking out this special little short episode on Twitter. And again, check out today's episode wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, review, all that great stuff. We'll talk to you on Tuesday at 11 on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.